Well, I'm joined with today with Kim Portz out of actually Lake Havasu here. Thanks for joining us today, Kim.
Thank you.
And Kim, why don't you start off by giving us a little bit of background about yourself, how long you've been in insurance, how you got into insurance, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I've been doing insurance for about 20 years. I started off with an independent agent, State Farm, as a receptionist, got my license, and worked for a few different captive agencies. So that was my start. I did work with an independent agent out of California for a short while and kind of bounced around a little bit until I found IPA and haven't looked back.
Awesome. So I know you kind of came to IPA in a roundabout way, and maybe we don't need to go to all the details there with some of your former partners and things like that, but what kind of benefits do you feel like Insurance Professionals of Arizona has offered you in your career as an insurance agent?
So when we first came to IPA, we had tried a couple of different things as far as aggregators, and there was another company that we kind of started working with that really didn't work out very well for us. The aggregators wouldn't look at us at all because we really were starting fresh from scratch, didn't have any client base. And the company that would work with us was very limiting on what I could do as an agent. So I wasn't able to bind. I had to submit it and they had to look it over and bind it for me. It was very restrictive. So we kept looking, and that's when we found you, IPA.
Awesome. And what kind of benefits do you feel like you get by being here at Insurance Professionals of Arizona? Maybe talk about, you already just mentioned that you have direct access to the underwriters and the carriers. You don't have to wait to bind business. You are authorized to bind business yourself. What about the carrier base that we offer and the flexibility to put your clients where it makes the most sense?
Well, with IPA, it's really, honestly, the sky's the limits. I have zero restrictions on what I can do as an agent. If I find, I really haven't had very many clients that I've had to say, no, I can't do that at all for you. The number of carriers that we're offered as agents, we can use them all. We can use a few. We can, there's really, I really like that IPA has offered me huge diversity, and I'm pretty free to do whatever I need to do for my clients, which is huge because I don't have any restrictions as far as clients that I can say, well, I can't do that. I don't have a carrier that'll cover you. It's very, very few clients that I can't help.
So being an independent agent and having the amount of options that we do here at Insurance Professionals of Arizona, how often is it that you win business, like a percentage wise? Out of how many quotes you do, how often do you end up writing the business?
It's a pretty big percentage. I want to say that I probably write between 75 and 80% of everything I quote.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's both on personal lines and commercial lines?
Yeah. Commercial, I'm really trying to get more into, but yeah, anytime I have a client, I seem to get a lot of the hard to write things, but for the most part, I have a lot of options, and I'm able to write most everything that I quote.
Who are your top 5 carriers that you, either because you like to or for whatever reason, that you work with the most? Who are the top 5 or 6?
Well, top 5 or 6, of course, Progressive, because I do a lot of recreational stuff. Safeco is a huge one for me. I'm really comfortable with them. I've written them for a really long time, even before I came to IPA with the independent agent I worked with out of California. I really like Safeco a lot. CSE is a huge one for me. I really like, I personally have them for my insurance. And I know what I can and can't write with a lot of these carriers. Mo is one of my Mutual v. NEMCLAW. Travelers, of course, because they offer second residence coverage with for my vacationers and my people that come in, snowbirds and that kind of stuff. So I have, it's pretty diverse. And I'm working on learning more about some of the other carriers. There's a few that haven't been too terribly competitive, but I don't ever write them off and not look at them because there may be a time where things change. So I might write a lot of one carrier for a while, and then they're, you know, the rates kind of fluctuate and somebody else might start looking better. So I kind of get into that. I try to diversify.
So being a working formerly with the captive agent at State Farm and having had as much time as you have in the independent world, what would you say to a captive agent who might be thinking about going independent, whether he was a State Farm, Allstate Farmers, American Family agent, Liberty Mutual, whoever? Would it be your recommendation for them to make that jump and go independent? And if so, why?
Oh, definitely. So working for captive, I've worked for a farmer's agent and I've worked for State Farm. You have to get really creative to try to win that business because you know, you have to hunt for discounts, make sure you're really doing your due diligence within your own scope of what you have available to you to write that business. With IPA, I think I've been so successful because I don't have any limitations. So I'm not just limited to one carrier, and I don't have, you know, a carrier saying, if I have a carrier that says, no, I can't write that, or you can't put it with us, I just move on to the next, you know, company. So it's not restrictive in the aspect where I only have one option.
Yeah. Why, if an agent was going to go independent, they probably have a lot of choices of different agencies that they could join. Is there any one or two or three key points that you would say this is why you would want to at least take a serious look at joining our team here at Insurance Professionals of Arizona?
Well, so I worked for an independent out of California, and it was nothing like working with IPA. I was very restrictive in what I couldn't do. The owner, I guess, per se, was not very supportive in me growing as an agent or making, you know, myself be able to be available to all clients for everything. There was a lot of do it this way, do it that way, do it this way. With IPA, I pretty much my own boss. I do what I need to do to make sure that my clients are happy. I've given free rein to work from home or work in an office. I don't have any restrictions or guidelines on how much I have to write. There's no goals set on me. I'm pretty free. I can do as little or as much as I want. There's no limitations. And I feel very supported at IPA. Anytime I have a problem or a question, there's always somebody that I can ask, whether it be on the Facebook page or Kent or, you know, Michelle with commercial. There's always some kind of support. So even though I'm independent and I'm by myself as an agent, I have that backup, that support of, you know, I can call an underwriter if I want to. I can call our, you know, carrier rep if I need to. I don't have any restrictions on what I can't do as an agent.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you joining me for a few minutes here today and talk about your experience with IPA. And I can tell you, from my perspective, we're so happy that you're part of our team and watching. You've done a phenomenal job growing your book of business over, what has it only been, a couple years, 3 years?
It's only been 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. So short amount of time, 3 years, and you've done an exceptionally well job of growing that book of business up there in Lake Havasu. So wish you continued success, and thanks for being part of our team.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your support.
All right, Kim, have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.